Hey, welcome to a super special episode of UltraChenTV. My name is Ultra David. This is James.
How's everybody going?
It's special because tonight or tomorrow morning or something, Ultra Street Fighter 4 comes out. It officially is released.
Yes.
To console.
Yes, and so what we have always done is every time they've released a change list for Ultra during the course of the existence of it, coming out to release, we've always gone over the change list and discussed them, and every time we do that, it takes us like 4 hours to do.
Takes us a really long time, and we knew that, so we didn't want to get involved. We haven't really talked much about the latest Ultra change list, and it's because we knew it would just take us forever. So last week we kind of hit some of the high points very briefly, 10 minutes at most. And tonight is going to be a different story.
Yeah, so we're just going to go through the details. Not only that, but rumor has it that the game is supposed to come out in about like almost 15 minutes, maybe.
We'll see.
If it happens, then we'll turn it on and we'll demo the changes while we go through them, which would be so sick.
Awesome.
But we'll see what happens, because it's either supposed to be 9 p.m. or midnight. We're not sure. I have it set up, sitting here waiting to go. It's all pre-installed already because you can pre-order it and all that stuff. So it's just chilling there right now. We'll see what happens.
But before we get to that,
yes,
we did want to have a little kind of breakdown, a post-mortem of AE 2012. It's been the version of Street Fighter 4 that we've had since 2012. It's a couple years old at this point, which makes it the longest lasting of the Street Fighter 4 games.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I mean, I guess we are saying farewell to it and kind of ushering in this new one, but there's a lot of very interesting thoughts that, can be taken from this most recent version. So, I mean, I know, for example, we've talked about it and we've both agreed that it's actually pretty balanced in the end, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on AE 2012?
Well, my thoughts are that it was, I think, my favorite version. And I know there's everybody has seemingly their own favorite. Some people like Vanilla because there was big damage. Some people like Super Street Fighter 4 because they view it as balanced. And nobody likes AE. It's pretty much bottom of the list. Categorically, I think.
There's no debate.
Right, yeah. Even if your character was good, even if like you played Yun or something, it was just
It's one of those situations, stupid. Like one of those alpha debates, and someone comes and goes, "The best alpha was Alpha 1."
No,
and everyone's just like, "Get out of here."
It wasn't. No. I do think that it was the most balanced version as well. I think that Vanilla, if we had played it longer, would have been a pretty imbalanced game towards the top. Maybe not towards the bottom, because I think the characters like Guile and Vega, but towards the top, I think it would have gotten real crazy with Seth and a lot of characters actually. Maybe Gen, maybe Cammy. A lot of characters could have gone real nuts. Akuma was in the process of doing that. I remember as the game was ending, Akuma was getting real crazy.
Especially with like those jab roundhouse loops.
Oh, those loops.
Had. Yeah.
How about the option select he had against Guile in the corner where he could just do demon flip? He literally demon flip grab. If Guile escaped by jumping or backdashing, then he could option select Dragon Punch, and Guile's only option was jump toward of all stupid things. So it was just, anyway, that character was getting crazy. That stuff was changed in Super. People say Super was balanced, but I don't really think that was the case. I think it was very imbalanced at the bottom. I think some characters were quite bad. And then at the top, it seemed balanced at the time, but I kind of think if we were to go back to it now and play it now, we would have some different ideas. I think the charge characters would not be that great.
Right.
I think largely the characters that do well in AE 2012 would be there, but even better. So I don't like those games as much as AE 2012. I think it was the most balanced, and I think that the results show that. I think it was played the fastest of all the Street Fighter 4s, which I really liked. The damage wasn't quite as high as in Vanilla, but the play style was faster because people have kind of changed how the play style is.
And Vortex a lot.
So that's the problem, right?
But I mean, Vortex led to big damage, though.
It did.
So,
sure, absolutely. But it's a big problem, and it's a big reason why Ultra is coming out. Everybody wanted to see Vortex go away. That wasn't a problem with AE 2012. It was a problem with Street Fighter 4 in general.
Yes.
We just didn't know about that stuff until later. There were some inklings of it in Vanilla. The name Vortex comes from Vanilla.
Yes.
When Akuma was already doing it. But nobody else was doing it. Unblockables weren't really in there. I mean, Well, I guess they kind of were in that there was literally unblockables with ultras, remember? With
yeah.
It was just a glitch. But people weren't really doing that stuff until Super at the earliest. What we call unblockables today.
Yeah.
All that stuff was in the game.
There was one class of unblockables in the first one with like Chun-Li, like supposedly the throw forward into the flip kick, which worked on Ryu in vanilla for some strange reason. Yeah. But
people didn't really do it.
Right, and plus that was like a very isolated case. Right. Whereas in Super, that's where it became a full-blown glitch.
Yeah, you know, people figured out how to look for those situations. And, you know, early on it was just kind of haphazard. Maybe you'd come across something weird and you kind of look into it more. But when we got more into AE and more into AE 2012, people really spent the time to specifically look for unblockable and hard to blockable setups.
And largely propagated by Alioun.
Alioun was a big part of it,
He basically started fighting it with Cammy, and then it just started kind of exploding from there. I mean, he was the guy, because he was the first person that, even in vanilla, all the way back then, who would do stuff like throw with certain buttons to measure your time and then get the jumps and stuff like that. So he was one of the first people that I saw.
Well, I was also doing that. So.
Well, yeah, fair enough. For your option selects, yeah.
But so I think.
Sorry.
I mean, AE 2012 gets kind of a bad rap nowadays because it's the game that stuff was really became a big deal in, but it's been there all along. So it's been in Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Before I talk too much, what do you think about the game?
I mean, so there was that one time around Christmas when me and Eduardo were playing vanilla, and vanilla just felt really fun just because of the damage. So I definitely miss that. But in terms of tournament competitiveness, I don't think it's a question that AE 2012 was the best of the 4 versions so far, right? So, because, like you said, the results they speak for themselves. And you know, honestly, like, the longer AE existed, the more worried I got about Ultra, because AE was turning out to be strangely balanced. I mean, I forgot, I was talking to Olaf Redland, who I think is in the chat right now. We were talking about the Chun-Li Sagat match, and he was like, Chun-Li cannot beat Sagat, Chun-Li is terrible, or whatever. And then I was like, well, and your Valmaster beat Ryan Hart in a tournament with Chun-Li versus Sagat. And so even this horrible matchup wasn't as bad. You know what I mean? And so that game just kind of like, somehow this game just kind of balanced itself out in some weird way. And so I'm a little bit worried, especially with some of the changes. We'll get into that, like with Yun and Viper and such like that. But I don't know. I did get sick of the Vortex.
Sure.
The Vortex literally got me to stop playing the game.
Yep.
So I will be glad to see it go. Right. It's through some form. It's still going to be there, but now there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to get caught in the Vortex now, basically.
Different mix-ups. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm okay with that. So I am very excited for Ultra, though. It's really the good with the bad kind of thing. You know what I mean? AE, really balanced game, but then Vortex. So,
right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of balance, do you want to like say what your final thoughts on like tiers in the game are?
Sure, no problem. Because I know everyone wants to know where. Look, I'll just say where I put Cammy, right? Because that's all anybody cares about at this point, right? So, I mean, honestly, I would probably put her third best in the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Third best in the game.
All right. Well, what's your top tier?
My top tier is probably Fei Long, then Akuma.
Oh yeah, Fei number 1.
Fei and Akuma, I flip flop on a lot of times. It depends. Like, it depends on who I talk to a lot of time. I always think Akuma's really good, but then if me and Eduardo will have conversations, and then Fei Long like becomes the best character because Eduardo absolutely thinks Fei Long is the best character, right? And so every time I talk to him about it, that's kind of how I feel. So honestly, it's one of those two, and then probably Cammy at that point. So
yeah, I think I have the same top 3.
Oh, okay.
I think that's not very contentious at this point, right? I mean, do you know anybody who doesn't think that those are the top 3?
Fei Long, Akuma, and Cammy players.
Right? I don't even know if that's the case. At some point, you have to admit it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're the best characters. Honestly, though, like, if we like, it's interesting because right now I think it's the three best characters. I still have that thing in my head that if we played this version for the next 5 or 6 years, that Cammy would drop. I still honestly believe that because most people still don't fight her right. Like, you watch Zeus play against K-Brad, and he has a real... No, but it's not even just that one time.
Yeah.
I saw them play again recently in another tournament. Every time they play, he does really well in a matchup that's supposedly terrible for Vega.
Right.
Because he does everything that I think you should do against Cammy. And, Vega's also good because his jump is really fast, right?
Got,
so that helps him
good
a lot.
Mobility.
Like, if you were somebody else with this really slow-ass jump, you couldn't do air-to-air stuff. But right now, Cammy's top 3, so...
Yeah, I definitely think that the tiers would change. Maybe... I don't know whether I think Cammy would drop. At most, not much.
Right.
Not much.
If I say drop, I mean, like, down to 5. Top 5.
Top 5. Okay.
Top 5.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. I don't mean like she's gonna be like 10th best. Like, I just don't think she'll be as strong as Fei Long and Akuma. I don't think the debate would be there for her to be as good as the other two after a while. So
I definitely think that other characters would move up over time. I mean, I still think Hakan would. I still think he should. I just that's the kind of character that. I mean, we've seen it happen in AE 2012 a few times at this point, where some character comes out of the blue and people are like, oh, it turns out Evil Ryu's good 2 years later, or it turns out Oni's good 2 years later. I'm not going to claim that I thought Oni was great. I didn't think he was great at the start, so okay. But things can change, and for whatever reason, people ignore strong characters. If they're ugly, if they're... I don't know. I feel like that's the major reason actually, with Hakan. But if they're more complicated, if they're not immediately obvious, things like that, then they don't get opened up as quickly.
Right.
And just a couple of years is not really that long of a time when it comes to fighting games. It's taken other characters in other games a lot longer to come up to reasonable snuff. So
we always bring up T.Hawk.
T.Hawk and NST is a big example. But even in Third Strike, Hugo in Japanese tier lists more recently has not been terrible. He's been kind of low. I mean, lower end of the mid tier, but he hasn't been down there with Q and Sean and 12.
Okay.
People have been figuring him out. That happens. I mean, that kind of stuff always happens.
Sure. Like, I know Yang
has
before
moved up.
It was always the top 3, and then the next tier was Yuri and Dudley Makoto, kind of in interchangeable order. They were always the second group. Yeah. And then Yang kind of jumped in there now, so he's mixing it up in there as well. So
that stuff happens if you give a game a long time. I think I agree with your top 3. What about your bottom?
Yeah,
maybe your bottom 5.
That's I actually think that's harder to name than the top 3. Like, honestly, like maybe even harder than trying to name the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could probably add 2 more characters at the top 5.
Okay, add them.
I mean, if I had to pick them, potential-wise, I know everyone gets mad at me. I still think Ibuki's really good.
Yeah.
I just feel like no one's ever brought her to the full potential that she should be played. And then I still think Viper's really good. So. But actually, Viper's kind of fallen off a little bit, but... You still see Wolfkrone, like, who disappeared for a while. He comes back, shows up at a tournament, gets second place, right? So, you know,
that's
I've always considered those 2 characters really strong. So,
I think if I were to do a full top 5, I don't think I would have either of those characters in there. Actually, let's see. I'm going through it in my mind right now.
Oh, actually, you know what? I have to take that back. I'm sorry, because I just saw the list of characters there.
I just brought the list up.
Yeah, and above both of those characters, I would put Sakura.
Okay, yeah. I think I would put Adon in top 5.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd put Adon in top 5.
Okay.
I might put Sakura in top 5, actually. That actually might round out my top 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Then at the bottom. Dude. So, look, in my opinion, it is not obvious, but, like, I don't think it's that hard.
Okay.
It's Dhalsim, DeeJay, Dan... T.Hawk. Oh man, who was the last character then? Now I can't recall. Well, that's definitely the bottom 4. You know what it was? I was gonna say Dudley, although I don't think that I think that anymore.
Dude,
I think that Smug has changed my mind on that.
So
that's the bottom 4, and I kind of feel like there's a little step in the tiers after that. Like after that, you're like you can play.
Then those are the characters that we can expect to see win tournaments and stuff like that.
And many of them have.
I mean, the bottom 5, I mean, the only other 5th character that maybe I might throw down there is maybe Blanka.
Oh, maybe Blanka.
Maybe Blanka, because Blanka's another one of those characters that for some reason hasn't really seen... I mean, he's gotten far in tournaments. He's never won, but if that was the criteria, then Bison would be down there too.
I mean, maybe I put Chun in there, although again, I just don't know if I think that anymore.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
Which is weird because I started buying into the, you know, I started drinking the juice that Chun-Li sucked in AE 2012.
Yeah, sure.
Mostly because everybody else said it and no one used her. So I was like, she must suck, you know? But then all of a sudden, right at the end, it's like all the Chuns were hibernating.
Yeah.
Like, let's keep her shitty so that when Ultra comes out, she'll be so good, you know? But, I mean, I don't know. I can't put Chun in bottom 5 anymore. So.
Okay. People are saying that they think Smug is godlike and Dudley is not. Dudley is not a godlike character.
No,
but
not.
He has some problems, don't get me wrong. But I do think that he's better than I thought he was. I used to think that the high-low game didn't really have a place in SF4. I thought SF4 was more about counter-hit or cross-up kind of stuff. He doesn't have... he has counter-hit, but the high-low game isn't really in there. And I'm wrong. I mean, I don't think I'm right about that, it turns out. I think that Smug makes that work.
Yeah, I guess other character... Oh, I saw a couple of them. Oh, so I mean, I know, obviously, Mike Ross thinks Honda's bad, right? But I've also heard a lot of people talk about Yang being really bad as well.
Yeah, they have.
So, but, you know, I don't know. Like,
I don't think he's down there with those characters.
The thing that makes it hard for me is that I hate saying that they're bottom 5 tier because I almost feel like they're representing him. Sure, they may be the 5 characters that are the hardest to win with overall, but I don't want to have the connotation of calling them bad or saying they're low tier. Because honestly, I don't think that they're bad characters. You know, I think they can win. We've seen Hung B with T.Hawk and, you know, all sorts of craziness. And Coach Steve with Blanka, for example, and such. So...
Yeah, I think that Blanka. I think that Dan wins some pretty important matchups. I think he beats Abel and Rufus, and I think he does fine against a lot of characters who want to get in and who he can do Dan pressure or Dan knee pressure against.
Right.
I think T.Hawk definitely beats a bunch of characters. But you know, I think that they also get lit up, and same with Dhalsim maybe beats like 2 or 3 characters at most. But but the point is that all those characters have matchups that they win, and a lot of even matchups. Which is a rarity when it comes to worst character in a game in a Street Fighter series.
Right.
It's not usually the case. Usually the worst character is actually a bad character.
Yeah. Like, to me, if I had to pick the one core character to be at the bottom, I would probably pick DeeJay. Because, like, most of the time, like, when we saw Infiltration use Chun, we're like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. You see Valmaster use Chun, you're like, wow. Even when Dako, like, blew up Team Canada with DeeJay. Like, after that whole thing, I was done. I was just like, I'm still not convinced DeeJay is a decent character.
I think I think that he and Sim are definitely the worst.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about Sim. I don't know if I would put him on bottom 5, but
good.
I know you think Sim is terrible.
It's not good.
I know you think Sim is terrible.
Yeah,
but,
I do.
And I don't know.
Again, not actually terrible, but relatively speaking.
Yeah. But you know, once we get there. You're probably not going to have very much hope for the next version either.
Not much hope at all.
Oh, man.
But yeah, it's been a great build of the game. I've really enjoyed AE 2012. Like you said, I'm not sad to see the Vortex go. That's something I'm looking forward to being gone. I'm not as against it as many people are. I'm okay with set play, I think, to maybe a greater degree than a lot of people are, but I'm happy to see the game get shaken up a bit. I'm happy to see new stuff.
Yeah, and just from like a lot, like Desk just released a new combo video for Chun-Li, and like the stuff that she's doing in there are completely impractical, but it just looks like she's more dynamic and more fun.
Now, did you see that other combo video that was put out?
Yeah, the long one that
the long one. Right? No, not Desk. The one that all the other guys did.
No.
There's like Madge in there, and there's like.
Oh no, that one! Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, that combo video was so
sick.
Good.
When I saw the Dhalsim combo, I had to rewatch it 2 or 3 times.
Dude, that was so good.
He linked EX Fire into crouching medium kick, the slide, and then linked that into back medium kick.
Dude, he also did like the
So
dash in the
awesome.
middle of it. You see that, dude? That was ridiculous. All right, it still says failed DLC right now, so I'll give it a couple more minutes, and we'll see if it goes. So.
Well, you know what? Anything else to say about AE 2012?
Dude, if you guys haven't seen the combo video, go see it.
Please do.
It's so good. So Madge and Snooch and Dopless and you know Smiley Mike 101, all those guys.
Right.
Basically the current combo video crew. They made an amazing combo video. So yeah, I don't have Ultra right now. So we'll wait a little bit and see what we can get. But let's take a break, I guess, real quick, and when we come back, we'll start jumping into the changes. Then
Let's do it.
okay, be right back, guys.
Ultra has not come out yet. We just checked.
Yep. I'm seeing a lot of conflicting reports on whether it's 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. or whatever and such. We'll keep trying during the course of the show. We'll see what happens. So.
Yes, we will. In the meantime, let's talk about Ultra. Even though we don't have it playable, we have the change list. Now, I want to say before this happens that each time the game has changed, even when they've put out patch notes, there have always been additional little phantom changes.
Yeah.
So even though these seem like they have a lot of detail in them, there's probably something that we don't know about yet.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the thing is they're tweaking stuff all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not that they didn't reveal it, that they're trying to dude, it just gets lost in the shuffle. It literally gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
I remember when Seth put together the change list, I think it was for AE a long time ago, or Super or whatever like
Probably
that.
Super,
I mean, he said it was literally him cobbling it together, running around to all the different developers going, what did you do? What did you do? Because back then it was unprecedented that someone would do something like that, actually put out a change list, you know. So it was still pretty new when Super came out that someone would actually do something like that. So
that is true. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the change list that's up on shoryuken.com. I'm going to post that list in the chat.
I actually got it right here.
Did you already do it? Okay.
I can do it right there. So
all
there
right.
you go.
It'll show up in your chat, well, now, but you'll hear us saying that it's going to show up 30 seconds from now.
Yeah, exactly. So you can follow along. I mean, I'll also put the changes up on screen, like, briefly, and then we'll switch back, but just so you can kind of mull over them. And
we're just going to go alphabetically. We're going to start at the top. We're going to go from Abel to Z, down to my boy Zangi.
And the nice thing about this change list, honestly, is like you don't see it right now with Abel, but if I scroll down to one of the other characters, do I have the wrong one here? Oh no, this is the right one. You'll see some of them have the strike through on them, meaning that these were in the arcade Ultra, the Japanese arcade ones, but then taken away. So yeah, so let's go back to Abel here.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So close stand. This is a huge change for him. Close stand fierce, first hitbox greatly expanded downward. So many times I have heard Abel's complaining about how you do toward medium kick, dash cancel toward, close fierce, and it whiffs on a lot of characters.
Yeah.
Some characters always, some only when crouching. And that's just, it's obnoxious, right? I mean, that means you don't get to do big damage. It means you have to change your hit confirms.
Yeah, you have to notice if you happen to strike them while they're standing or crouching.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So I think I like universalizing those kind of things.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean? So now Abel players can just consistently go for that combo. I think that's great. I think that's great for him.
Yeah, that's awesome. Crouching Fierce, second hitbox expanded downward is a similar kind of thing. It whiffed on some characters in some situations, even when you hit the first hit. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that's good. Far stand roundhouse startup reduced by a frame. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, it's just overall improvement, given an extra active frame, reducing by one recovery frame. So overall, it's going to be a faster move with longer active frames. So it's just going to be a better footsie tool.
Right. Now, EX Falling Sky, or just regular Falling Sky, it says, has more active frames and also more upper body invincibility. You know, it has the stupid thing in previous versions where it would trade but do no damage.
Right.
It's very weird. I saw an Abel player at UFGT and I asked him how he liked that change. He said he noticed it.
Oh, really?
He noticed it. He didn't say it was like the greatest thing of all time, but yeah, he said it was there, which is nice.
Cool.
Now, he did say, though, that EX change of direction startup reduced by 3 frames is actually kind of cool, kind of important. Okay. He said he was using it to whiff punish things.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing to me is that really what you're going to do most of the time with it is FADC the first hit, right? So even if you throw it out as a Hail Mary, it's a better Hail Mary now, but if you're wrong, you spend 3 meters. So I'm okay with this change. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think this also makes it so that it combos from lights.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because in the Ultra SF4 combo video that Desk put out, I think that happened.
Okay.
And if so, then that's really nice for him. That means he can do things like option select jab into EX.
Right, because 13 frames is the exact count that you need it to combo, right? Okay. No, I think it's good. That's
really good. And then the next change is nice too. If you do change the direction and then go low, that didn't combo before. Now it's going to combo, which is nice. And you can go all the way through the low version into like a full combo. So he has an actual high-low.
Well, I think the second low won't combo, but if you connect it, it puts them in a much longer hit stun. So if you FADC off of it, you can get combos on them.
Oh, is that what it's for?
Yeah, see, it says it's the advantage on hit has increased. So basically, if you do like low, you can FADC into low fierce, I think, and then do ultra.
That's pretty nice.
I think so. Yeah, if you do catch them high blocking the overhead part of it and just catch them low, and then you can get like a longer combo on
that sounds pretty solid.
Yeah. And so finish low reduced by 5 frames startup. So I think low into low will combo.
That combos.
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Super active frames increased by 2. Soulless, aka Ultra 1, push box greatly expanded upwards. Oh, so it's less likely to cross under after crouching fierce in the corner. Right. Oh, great, it's more comboable.
Yeah, it still happens. I've seen it before. Like someone put a video at one of the test locations that it still went under. Okay. But I think it's just less likely. Huh? Okay. Yeah, it's just less likely.
That's cool. Those sound like nice changes for Abel. I think he's a good character. I don't know why he's not played more often.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Gustavo do really well.
Sure.
And then Rico Suave's done really well with him.
Absolutely, still possible.
Yeah.
And he's basically the same character. He just has maybe slightly better mix-ups and is more consistent too, which is great.
Yep.
That sounds good.
Okay,
let's move on then.
So let's switch over to here. We'll scroll down past Adon here. I mean, sorry, past the Adon picture, I should say.
That's fine. You just leave it there.
There you go.
That's the top. So, close stand roundhouse, hitbox, slightly expanded horizontally and upward. Is that for combos, you think?
Close standing hard kick. I think it's just better anti-air.
Anti-air, okay.
Yeah, it's just better anti-air.
Crouching jab, advantage on hit increased by 1. That means he can link into stuff.
I think that's actually a pretty good one, because you see a lot of Adons miss that low jab, low short, and now it's just going to be a lot easier to do.
But you can do crouching jab, crouching medium kick, which is...
Oh, yeah. But crouching medium kick...
into DP. It was in the Ultra Change List video that Combo Fiend put out. Jaguar Crunch, aka 6 plus MP, aka toward strong, aka the overhead. Frame advantage against standing opponents reduced by 1 frame. So that is great. I guess you can't link afterward if you're standing. Okay.
Yeah, I mean the thing about it was just that depending on standing or crouching, like it was different. I think they just universalized it. So it's the same on both. Yeah. And then this one's interesting. The second hit on the Rising Jaguar on grounded opponents pops them up a little bit higher. So you know how there was that very combo specific low jab, low strong short Jaguar, and then do another Rising Jaguar in the corner. Yeah. Only worked on certain characters with certain setups. I think it's now going to be universal on everybody. So if they're in the corner and they're standing and you combo so that the first hit misses, you can get the second one there.
Okay.
I'm really curious to see what other kind of things you can do, because it says only on ground. Because if it popped them up higher in the air, I would imagine that would lead to short Rising Jaguars into Ultra 2.
Probably so.
But if it's only ground that it pops them up higher, and that's the little voodoo magic that they put in there, then I'll be curious to see what kind of weird things we can come up with that.
For sure. DP FADC toward is -5, as it is with, I think, almost everybody.
Yeah, all the Jaguar kick damages have been reduced by 10.
Okay.
Right. And so the chip, of course, has gone with it. So the chip change that they list here is standard reduction with the damage reduction, right? I don't know. Like, I guess people just hated blocking that thing.
You know what? I understand the change. I don't think it's necessary. I don't think that's a necessary change. But yeah, it's a really good move.
Yeah.
So I guess they didn't like it being that great. It's still really good. But.
Yeah, they really went crazy with this versus airborne versus grounded people, because now the H Jaguar kick does less damage if you hit someone out of the air with it. If you hit him on the ground, it does 120. If you hit him out of the air, it does 100.
I always forget, is H the one that moves toward a lot, or moves vertically a lot?
Okay. It's the very vertical,
it's the vertical one.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So then the Air Jaguar kicks have more delay. That one I was surprised about. They've added an extra frame of delay on them so that when you block those, he doesn't have... Because the thing is, the ground Jaguar kick was always the one that, to me, was the one that you were in negative because it was really good. It was armor breaker. And so the air one, the weakness was the fact that you could focus it and stuff. But I guess they want to make them -2 as well. So now they're -2. The ground ones are -2.
Yay, grapplers!
Yeah,
grapplers say thank you.
I'm just wondering, like, what the air one really is for now. I guess you can still combo out of it because they didn't say it hurt the hit stun.
He still has mobility with it. Still pressure from different angles. I mean, it'll still be good. Yeah. It'll just be less useful. And I guess if I see a Jaguar kick from Adon now, and I'm Zangief or Hawk or whoever, I'm just gonna pile drive always. Yeah, which sucks for him because it's already not easy.
And then the chip on all Air Jaguar kicks were reduced past standard. They didn't lower their damage, just their chip. So now they do 1/4 chip instead of 1/2 chip, or I'm sorry, 1/8 chip instead of 1/4 chip.
EX Airborne Jaguar kick second hit changed to a mid attack. Oh, so only overhead, okay, only. Beforehand, only the first one was, I guess.
I think, don't know. From what I was looking on the frame data tables, the first before, they were both blockable in any direction.
Were they?
Yeah, I think it's only the ground Jaguar kick that had the overhead. But the air one
you're totally right about that.
Yeah, the air one could be blocked in both directions, but now the air one will hit.
Okay, that's nice. That's cool. And then Ultra 1, forward movement from second hit, and after is slightly shortened. This is to make it work against close opponents, which it did whiff against sometimes.
Yeah, it would go over that.
Overall, he's a little worse, of course. The linking into crouching medium kick is nice, I guess. More damage for available in that way. Also more damage available from DP, because you can juggle it. Less damage over time from Jaguar kicks.
Yeah, I mean, he's overall a little bit... I mean... He really didn't get any buffs. I mean, even that Jaguar kick combo only works in the corner.
Right. The overhead, I guess, is nice on EX. I guess Ultra hitting more often is nice. But yeah, those aren't major things.
Yeah. So overall, I think he's going to drop down a little bit. And, I mean, let's just put it this way. Everyone who uses a character who's not Viper or Yun, not a Viper or Yun player right now, are kind of in that doom and gloom period that everyone goes through when we get to a new version.
Sure.
And I've seen GamerBee basically said that the delayed wake up is also going to destroy Adon, and he feels like Adon's going to be really bad now, but...
I don't know about that. I mean, we also have to talk about this in the context of the game changes, in the context of delayed wake up and of red focus. It seems to me that Adon will be good with red focus. I like crouching fierce into red focus, for example. I think that's going to be really useful. And when it comes to delayed wake up, a lot of his mix-ups are after soft knockdowns anyway. Dragon punch into soft knockdown. So I don't see that being a huge impact for him.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go to the next guy here.
Sure.
Akuma. Yay. Here we go. So, close medium kick now forces stand. So it's a force stand, and also activates a little further away. Basically, his quote close-up range is further away now, so that way you can use it like low jab, close medium kick, stand people up. So basically, if you hit confirm into it, you can always hit him with a short hurricane. It's guaranteed now to hit him with a short hurricane, because if you hit them while they were crouching, you couldn't do a combo into short hurricane.
That's true.
Right? So now you can do low jab, stand forward, short hurricane, sweep on certain characters, and start your slightly nerfed vortex now. So it's a nice little option for him to go into short hurricane.
Then this is a really good one. Far stand fierce is special, EX, etc. cancelable. Damage reduced by 30, so it's 90 rather than 120. But that's so good. I accidentally pressed it. I think that's really good for him.
That's Cross Tekken. That's what they did in the Cross Tekken patch. Yeah. They made that move cancelable.
They did. I like it because it gives him an option in footsies that's better. Far Stand Fierce was used as anti-air already. Now if you can cancel into Fireball, you can set up a little situation afterward. Or maybe even cancel it into Demon Flip after anti-air. I think that canceled into, one of his later changes, the Demon Flip, regular Demon Flip into Fireball.
Yeah.
I think that combination is really good.
They even used it in the combo video too, where he comboed Fierce into instant Demon Flip EX Air Fireball, and then was able to land and keep the combo going.
Right.
So.
And Far Stand Fierce is combos into Red Focus.
Oh, right.
Which is going to be good for him too. So, all right. Now, Sweep can no longer be canceled into Raging Demon.
Ultra.
Into Ultra 1.
Only Ultra. You can do it in the Super, but Super has no invincibility, so whatever. Right.
That's true.
So, I mean, that's good.
That's good.
Because before, when he had the Ultra 1, then he just started sweeping with impunity pretty much, and there was nothing. Focus, you got grabbed. Oh, you try to whiff punish, you got grabbed. You jump, you got grabbed. So, I mean, I think that's fair.
I totally think that's fair.
Yeah, so, of course, EX Shakunetsu Hadouken, which is the red fireball, startup reduced by 6 frames. Sure.
Yeah, I wonder if that means it combos from Fierce now. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just wondering. Okay. It's 19 frames. Some Fierces have 19 frames if it's done, some don't. So we'll see. Light Kick, Hurricane, hitbox expanded downward. So you were just talking about how sometimes it's hard to combo into that.
Right.
I guess this is going to be easier anyway.
I don't understand what Light Hurricane expanded downward hitbox does. That's weird.
It lets you combo more often, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
If you just have I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if you can combo crouching characters as their short ones. Jump back Fireball, various versions, recovery increased by 2 frames. It's not a major nerf, but it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're trying to discourage jump backwards fireballs a little bit more without taking it away.
Right.
2 frames seems really minor to me.
Pretty minor.
But I guess it's just one of those situations where he's at a more of a frame disadvantage when he throws him, so that maybe if you do jump over at that range where he can't uppercut you, he has to respect it a little bit more. Yeah,
maybe like Cammy EX Drill gets under there more easily. I mean, just it's going to be on the margins, but it'll be a little bit more often.
And then, of course, now regular Demon Flip can be canceled into EX Air Fireball.
Right.
We were talking about that earlier. Before, it was only EX Demon Flip.
Right.
I mean, it's going to help him get in.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, the standing fierce or even just low forward. Because now you can start a Demon Flip while the opponent's in block stun and then go into an Air Fireball while they're in block stun.
Totally.
EX Air Fireball. So, totally great way to get in on people and apply pressure. So, even though his Vortex has been nerfed, who knows, man? Can you imagine if the Air EX Fireball, like if he did it right, the first fireball would hit you if you got up normally, but then if you did a delayed wake up, the second Air Fireball would hit you? That's
totally possible.
That'd be crazy.
We'll see. Worked. I wouldn't be surprised. Medium Dragon Punch, second hit can no longer be FADC'd. Looks like same thing for Fierce, but also for second and third hits for Fierce.
Right.
And then all regular Dragon Punches, FADC toward are -5.
So you got to FADC the first hit.
Yeah.
So just evening out the playing field.
That's fine. I think that's totally reasonable since everybody else is getting it. Now, obviously, he's nerfed because Vortex is going to be much harder to do, right, with delayed wake up. I still think he's going to be super good.
Hang on a second. I want to check one thing really quick about the frame data here.
Sure. I got it up over here if you're interested.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me see Akuma. Actually, no. Let me just grab my spreadsheet, actually, because I think I have it listed there.
If you haven't seen, James has been putting in a lot of work on the Shoryuken wiki. It's at wiki.shoryuken.com.
Yeah,
right.
And then the Ultra is the new link on the front page, so you can check that out there. Like I've put in the smaller frame data table and the bottom frame data table. Yeah. I just put all sorts of ridiculous information there now. So so one of the things that I wanted to check about Akuma was the short Hurricane, because if the short Hurricane, if I'm not mistaken, goes into a free juggle, I don't think his sweep has any juggle potential, right? I believe it's just...
Yeah, I think he can reset with whatever.
Right. So let's see here. I have it written wrong.
Oh man, I see where you're going.
Yeah, so basically what we were talking about was he lost the vortex on the hard knockdown, right? But if you do short hurricane into stand fierce,
right,
or something, then he has the Makoto mix-ups where you always land on your feet at the same timing. You don't even get quick rise or not. So if he does hurricane, yeah, because he does like cross up hurricane, stand roundhouse, all that stuff. So if he does all that stuff into resets, like can you imagine if he did short hurricane fierce into the Demon Flip EX air fireball, for example?
Already we see Akuma's doing short hurricane into dragon punch and then doing a kind of a weaker vortex, but still a vortex.
Right.
So I mean that stuff is still going to be around. I think that's going to be really good. Yeah. And his other changes I think are so good. Yeah, I really like cancelable far fierce. I really like demon flip into EX fireball. I really like those.
Yeah, and like I said, I just feel like that's what you're gonna do now after short hurricane kick, hit him out of the air, EX demon flip into EX air fireball. Now they gotta land in all these air fireballs, and you get the mix ups from there. So
I think that sounds great.
So get rid of that old vortex, put in a new vortex.
Yeah, and you know, a little bit worse when it comes to jump back fireball zoning, but he seems like he's going to be better offensively to me. Rather, other than Vortex, but like kind of as a more traditional SF character, I think he's going to be a little better.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine too. Get rid of the turtley jump back air fireball, so that's good.
It still sounds good to me in conclusion. All right, let's move on then.
Let's go to one more character and then we can take a quick break.
Sounds good. Talking about Balrog.
Balrog is okay. This is an interesting one, but let's go through all the changes and then I'll talk about this a little bit here. So dash straight on hit has gone from -2 to -1.
Right.
So before on block he was -3, on hit he was -2, now he's only -1. So if he combos into it, he's not in as bad of a situation as he was before. One frame sounds small, but I mean it's not terrible. I mean it's significant enough that because of positioning and if you distance it right, he can still get a lot more to work with him. You know, each individual frame is more significant at closer ranges, and when you hit someone with a dash straight, you're right next to him. So
okay.
The medium dash straight pushback on hit reduced.
Makes it easier to combo into EX red focus.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess. Can you combo into medium dash straight? I don't think so.
I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can.
Because it's 22 frame startup according to this
thing. Yeah, but that's the longest range. 7 at the fastest. Because the startup is dependent on how far away you are.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because
I thought that was with only EX. I didn't know that applied to his regular ones.
Oh, no, regular ones as well.
Rad. So, okay, strike that.
So he should be able to even just jab combo into it, I think, if he's close enough.
That's pretty great then. That's really useful for him.
Yeah. So, wow, that's going to be really good. I mean, obviously his focus attack sucks.
Right, so he's got to be close.
But if it doesn't push him back as far, that'll help. So, and then, of course, all of the overhead, the swing blows, have been changed. So, before, all of them, when they hit, you had enough hit confirmation. You had enough hit stun to combo off of them into headbutt. And on block, they all died.
Right,
they're all
pretty much.
Like -7 or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
-5 or greater.
So now, what it is the H1 is still exactly like it used to be, right? But the L1 is now much safer on block, and you cannot combo off of it.
Right.
And it takes less time to charge.
Right.
So it has basically become one of his premier pestering tools.
Yeah, it's more of a mix-up kind of thing. Yeah.
He's not going to get any damage off of it if he hits you with it. He's just going to go pow, and that's it.
Right.
But he can use it now, and even if you block it, you're safe. So now, because it has all that startup, the goal is to hit it before it gets to you, right? That's the weakness now, is all the startup. So he's got this little mix-up game off of that. The medium one is kind of in between now, right? It's still a little slower, doesn't quite, but, you know, it's still safe on block and such. So
okay, all right. Turn punch charge from level 2 to 4 has been adjusted to approximately 2 seconds per level.
Yeah.
Then coming next is an unfortunate one for him. A change that was in the arcade version that has been removed was that turnaround punch level 1 advantage on block was 0.
Right.
Now it's back to -2.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think that's fine.
I just think that's too bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, even as a grappler player, like this means that I get to SPD him if he does it at the wrong spot.
Right.
Gotcha. And I couldn't if it was 0. I just think that he should probably be able to do that. But okay, whatever.
Well, the next one, the Ultra Change, is actually really nice, that he can do the straight punch at the end.
That is really nice.
Because there's a lot of times he'll catch him at the tip of the fist, and you don't know if the last hit's going to hit or not.
Right.
Now it's pretty much guaranteed that you can hold punch and always get that last hit.
Yeah.
And then, Dirty Bull is now 720 plus P. I think you can still jump away from it, but it grabs a lot farther. And but the damage has been reduced by a lot. So
that Ultra is gonna suck still.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say anything about not being jumpable. I assume it's still jumpable on reaction. Maybe they were thinking, look, you can combo into EX Red Focus pretty easily. People are gonna do this more often, and there's still pretty solid stun output to it. I don't think they changed that.
I think it's gonna be more useful as a punish tool because of the range increase, right? So now things that were a little further away, you can probably Ultra to it.
I suppose. But, you're never going to do that.
Right. But, so the interesting thing that I wanted to say about this character was when this Changeless came out, PR Rog, premier Balrog player, obviously, maybe best in the world, was really sad.
Yeah.
Because he really wanted at least a -2 or -1 on the jab straight.
Right.
On block.
Right.
Because then you can't get fierce uppercutted by Ken and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Interestingly enough, the last few tweets I've gotten from him, he's changed his tune.
Has that so?
He actually what he realized now is that light swing blow is the main poke tool now.
Okay.
You just basically do that all day. I mean, it takes 10 less frames of charge.
Sure.
So he just says you just like low strong into that and just keep pestering with that. Overhead, 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 and you're always safe. So instead of getting what he wanted out of the jab straight, he gets it out of the swing blow. Yeah, there's a little bit more startup, but I mean it's really hard to see coming, right? Because you're scared of the jab straights and stuff like that.
Yeah, looks like the fastest startup on that is 22 frames.
Yeah, okay.
Which is definitely slower.
Yeah.
By a considerable amount. But okay.
Yeah, but
I can see that, I guess.
He's been saying like he kind of understands it now, and I got to imagine being up in NorCal, he's probably had a chance to play the final build or something like that recently. So
maybe so. Yeah, maybe that'll open it up for him to get sweeps more easily.
Right, exactly, and even the low one might even be more useful because people might stand up a lot more just on reaction.
Sure. Okay, I can see that, I guess.
Yep.
Well, I guess, I mean, he's much more of an authority on that than we are, so I'm not going to go against that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
okay.
Do you want to take a quick break and
Let's
then come back and then we'll continue with Blanka? All right.